November 19th, 1984. A Pan American jetliner descends over Mexico City, preparing to land. 5:46. The captain of the aircraft witnesses an explosion on the ground. He radios the control tower, alerting them to the possibility that a nuclear explosion has occurred. What the Pan American captain saw looked, indeed, like a nuclear mushroom cloud. It was, however, something else. It was something called a bleve, a liquefied petroleum gas explosion in the middle of a crowded residential area. It was November 19th, 1984, the day the sky caught fire. Liquefied petroleum gas, such as propane and butane, is transported and stored in a liquid state. Tank trucks, railway tank cars, and LPG storage tanks are common sights almost everywhere in the world. Such tanks are always equipped with safety relief valves, and normally there's little danger of leakage or explosion. However, accidents can and do happen. This film sequence from the National Fire Protection Association shows what can happen, for example, when two tank cars collide. The liquefied gas vaporizes as it is released, creating a so-called pancake cloud of highly flammable vapor. A single spark or small flame is enough to ignite the gas, flashing back to the leaking liquid. The fire heats another tank. The liquid inside that tank eventually boils and expands, increasing the pressure within the tank. The relief valve operates to limit the excess pressure. For some minutes at least, the liquefied gas in the tank absorbs the heat of the fire, and the tank remains intact. But flames reaching the tank above the liquid level can cause the tank metal to weaken. Because of the pressure inside the tank, the metal thins and eventually tears. The pressure drops suddenly. Large quantities of boiling liquid vaporize, expand, and ignite immediately, and tank pieces become flying missiles. This is a bleve. Boiling, liquid, expanding, vapor explosion. Large sections of the tank can rocket over 1,000 meters, trailing ignited liquid. The ground flash covers an area hundreds of meters in diameter. The blast wave has tremendous force, and the fireball rises on a thermal column, radiating heat, and falling droplets of cooled gas can cause fires and burns for hundreds of meters around the explosion. All this happens swiftly and without warning. This LPG storage facility was built in the early 1960s in the valley of San Juanico on the fringe of Mexico City. The facility consisted of 6 gigantic spherical tanks, plus 48 cylindrical tanks of various sizes. In addition, the plant contained a water pond for firefighting and a ground-level flare for burning off excess gas. When this facility was built, no dwellings were allowed within a radius of 300 meters. Over the years, however, the overpopulation of Mexico City caused housing to creep closer and closer to the plant, until there were rows of makeshift housing as close as 130 meters from the tanks. Tanks with a combined capacity of over 15 million liters of heavily compressed and highly flammable liquefied petroleum gas. November 19th, sometime after 5:30, a leak occurs in a 12-inch pipe feeding gas into a spherical storage tank. During the next minutes, a cloud of vapor forms around the facility, and nearby residents are awakened by the sound and smell of escaping gas. At approximately 5:40, the ground flare ignites the gas cloud, and the resulting explosion awakens thousands more people in the area. The blast causes a ground fire and ignites 10 houses. From the leaking gas pipes, strong flames are now aimed at the spherical containers. After several minutes, the first tank blevies, followed 1 minute later by a second blevy, which will be the most devastating of all. A fireball 300 to 400 meters in diameter rises in the sky. Cooled liquefied gas is sprayed out over the residential area, turning houses, livestock, and people into burning torches. Ten minutes later, another tank blevies. And during the next 90 minutes, 12 more explosions rock the area. 200 firemen worked 6 hours to extinguish the ground and house fires. Water for the firefighting must be delivered by tank trucks, normally used to carry drinking water to the village. Only after considerable time, and despite the risk of further levies, firemen attempt to cool down the tanks. Efforts more heroic than prudent. It will be 18 hours before the leaking gas flames finally die out. Within a radius of 800 meters, 40 gas cylinders and fragments have been rocketed into buildings and houses. An LPG bottling and distribution facility nearby is hit by a red-hot tank fragment. Delivery trucks are destroyed, and 5,000 bottles of household gas explode. Many of the small bottles fly hundreds of meters away. One of the large gas cylinders from the main facility has been propelled 1,200 meters from the plant. But it is closer to the fire scene that the real horror of the disaster is uncovered. The neighborhood, within a radius of 400 meters from the plant, is incinerated by the intense heat and radiation from the Blevy fireballs, combined with falling droplets of LP gas. Over 300 bodies are discovered in blocks of burned-out houses. Rescue workers have the grim task of deciding who is to be rescued and who is not. Hopeless cases must be left in favor of victims with better chances. 60,000 people are evacuated from the area and given temporary shelter in sports and civic centers 10 kilometers away from the disaster area. Food and clothing are distributed to the homeless. While nearly 1,000 doctors and many more paramedics attend to the injured in makeshift clinics. More than 7,000 people are treated for burns. "300 of them will not survive." Hundreds more will be crippled for life. And thousands will never forget the horrors they have witnessed. The day the sky caught fire. What happened in Mexico City was the worst liquefied petroleum gas disaster in history. But it was not the first, and will probably not be the last. Houston, Texas, October 19th, 1971. One person is killed and 50 injured when a burning vinyl chloride tank suddenly blevies. Crescent City, Illinois, June 21st, 1970. A train derails, overturning 2 tank cars containing liquid propane. The tank blevies. "70% of the town's business district is destroyed, and 70 people are injured." Kingman, Arizona, July 5th, 1973. 13 people are killed and 95 injured when a railway tank car catches fire and blevies. Oneonta, New York, February 12th, 1974. 25 people are injured when railway cars loaded with LP gas derail and explode. Liquid petroleum gas explosions have occurred in every part of the world. Not all accidents can be avoided. The risk of leaking gas and blevy disasters can, however, be reduced if proper attention is paid to the safe transit of liquefied petroleum gases and to the standards for construction, maintenance, inspection, and security of LPG storage facilities. The material accompanying this program should be studied by every person involved with the transport, storage, and handling of liquefied petroleum gases, as well as by fire protection, public safety, and civil defense personnel. The importance of the human factor in LPG security cannot be underestimated. It is essential to be aware of the dangers, aware of the risks, and aware of the procedures for limiting damages when accidents do occur. Let the day the sky caught fire be a reminder of our responsibility.
Mm-hmm.